Hello, my dear listeners. I believe we are all doing well. I am also doing well. Today, we are still on the book Navigating the Heart. Who is Dragging You, written by Dr. Oksupak. And Dr. Oksupak's priority or his dream is to give strength and hope to all the youth over the world and also to give joy to the sad heart. So as we keep reading this book, I believe this book will serve as a source of genuine strength to our stressed body and also our tired body. I know during the day the workload has been a lot, but don't forget a week without reading always weakens the brain. So we are on our third story and the second chapter, which talks about the more abundantly we live, the less time there is for the heart to flow. Nowadays, children rarely have any conversation with their parents. It is because their hearts are very different. When the father sees his son's image, he worries. What will he grow up to be living like that? When the father looks at his son and compares him to his generation and his standard of life, his son appears to be so negligent. As a result, the father is full of complaints, and inevitably, even though the father doesn't intend to, he ends up constantly nagging his son. On the other hand, the son, who was filled with complaints to begin with, now complains even more because his father is now nagging. He becomes bitter towards his father and even defiles his father. Such things happen because there is no flow of the heart between parents and their children. If people live only pushing forth their own opinions and following only after their own ambitions, the hearts of the parents and children will only grow distant. Regardless of the country, when the economy of a nation develops, the citizens' heart or desire grow as well. As they begin to have the things that they did not have in the past, their lives become more and more different. So the better off they become, the simple things disappear and life becomes more complicated. There is now no time for fathers and children, or even brothers and sisters to share their hearts. And even when such a time does present itself, everyone is so busy with his or her own things and that they all behave so selfishly. Then, once again, there is no time. As they continue to live like this, there is no margin of time for their hearts to flow. In Mr. Chon Min Kim's family, even though the circumstances of his household and family may have been difficult, the son came to know and understand his father's hardship and became thankful. There are not many families who live like the family of Mr. Chon Min Kim. It is a special case where, although the family's circumstances may be difficult, the son is thankful because he knows the suffering of his father. Where everyone lives under the same roof, if the hearts do not flow, you cannot call them a true family. We are moving to the fourth story in the second chapter. When we were poor, we just lived through it. But now, we earn lots of money. There was a person who was a full-time soldier and had nowhere to go after being discharged from the army. A friend of his had an empty room at his father's factory. So he lived in that room without family for several years. Afterwards, however, something happened to that friend and he had to move out. There was nowhere for him to go immediately, but he found a room to live in and worked as security at warehouses along the harbor. He received about $1,000 a month, and it was very tight for him to feed his whole family and put his 3 children through school with only that amount of money. One day, the son asked his father to buy him some new sneakers. "Dad, my shoes are all worn out." "Yes, you are right. However, I have already spent my paycheck for this month. You would have to wait for another month." "But father, the soles are all worn out and water seeps through." "I am sorry. Next month, I will surely buy you new shoes when I get paid." The son understood the circumstances, so he did not press anymore. When it was the day for the next payment to arrive, the first thing the father did was take his son to the shoe store. Expensive shoes cost more than $100, but he could not afford such shoes for his son. Instead, he bought a no-name brand shoe for only $25. However, the son saw that the heels of his father's shoes were already completely worn out. "Father, what about your shoes?" the son asked. "When I go to work, I change immediately into my work boots. So these shoes are just for walking back and forth to work. These worn-out shoes are perfectly fine for that." "But father, your shoes are completely worn out. Why don't you get a new pair of shoes too, father?" "I can buy them next time. For this month, I am just happy that we can buy your shoes." The son was very thankful to his father. The father's and the son's hearts became even closer, and it was really great. "Son, you study hard and become a great man. Don't live like your father, but make good money." "Yes, father. But, father, I still love you." Time passed by, and one day, the father went to the city to run some errands. While walking on the street, by chance, he ran into a former senior officer whom he served with in the military. "Hey, long time no see. How have you been?" asked the former officer. "Oh, Colonel Kim, how are you?" he replied. "How long has it been? Why haven't we been in touch? I am so sorry. I have been unable to reach you." "So what are you up to?" "Oh, I just came into the city to run some errands." "Really? Then why don't we go out for some tea?" The two of them began to have a conversation as they drank tea together. So what line of work are you in these days? Well, I tried hard to find a job, but it didn't go so well. So I worked as security guard at storage warehouse. A security guard? When you were in the army, you were so smart and you were good at what you did. No. What was I good at? Listen, I know for a fact that our material manager is about to quit, and I think his position will be available in about a month or so. Why don't you come and work at our company? Is it okay for a person like me to have that kind of a job? Look, I know you. You will do fine. I can't pay you much while you are training. I'll pay you $2,500 a month. And after 2 months, after you are done with your training, we will pay you $3,000 a month. It's not much, but it should be enough for you to live without much discomfort. Here is my card. I really hope that you'll come and work for me. Oh yes, thank you very much. He went home in the evening and told his wife what had happened during the day, and his wife was so happy. A few days later, he got a phone call from the company telling him to start following month. On the first day of work, he put on new shoes he bought with money that he borrowed, put on new clothes, and went to the company. Manager, I thought I would be poor my entire life, but I wanted to thank you so much for thinking of a person like me. I would never forget this grace my entire life. Look, I know you will, and I know you will do a great job. Yes, I will. I will work with all my heart so that I will not cause you any embarrassment, and I will repay you for this, sir. When he did security work at storage warehouses, he would just sit down all day long, read books, and he wasted time a lot. But now, he was a manager of supplies, so the work he was doing was a lot of fun. It kept him busy, and the first month passed very quickly. The day he received the $2,500 for his first paycheck, he felt like he had suddenly become very rich. Now, at his dining table, foods that he could not afford previously, like expensive mackerel and watermelon, could be served. So he bought some and sat down with his family and ate together. The whole family was happy. A few months passed, and the father's salary went up to $3,500, and their circumstances became even better. As a result, the family was really excited and joyful. But then a problem began to arise. When they had much less, the children didn't expect much. But as the father's earning increased, their desire started to become greater and greater as well. One day, the son said to the father, "Father, buy me some sneakers. Your sneakers are not worn out yet. There is no one in my class who wears the shoes that I wear. They all wear Nike or Puma, Everyone wears those kind of shoes. Before, you said your shoes were fine. Father, when we didn't have money, I had no choice, and so I didn't say anything. But now we have money. Since we have enough money, why do we have to continue to appear poor? Please, buy me a pair of Nike shoes. I will wear them when I go to school, and when I come home, I will wear my old shoes. Now that they had money, the children's desire became greater and greater. When the family was poor, they were thankful for the cheap shoes, and they were able to suppress their hearts of wanting to wear expensive shoes. But now, their circumstances had changed. I want to buy a gift and go to my friend's birthday party. I want to go out with my friend and buy some hamburgers and have some fun. The father was shocked. No matter how much money he made, his son's desires grew so much faster than the money that the father made. It became uncontrollable. The father also needed many things. Before, it was not a problem for him to wear worn-out shoes. But now that he had to meet many customers, he had to have new shoes and wear nice, clean suits as well. The way his wife shopped at the market has also changed. He was surely making much more money. In fact, he was making a considerably large amount of money compared to what he had made before, but it was still not enough. It became uncontrollable because the family's desire had grown larger than the money that he was making. The father and son no longer shared the warm love and attachment they once did. The son became and began to complain more and more towards his father, who could not fulfill all of his desires. In addition, the argument between the father and the son began to grow even more. However, because the father loved his son, he grew even more. Because the father loved his son, although he knew he couldn't, he still continued to give his son money. His son grew more and more accustomed to spending money, and the words, "Give me money, give me money," were always stuck to his lips. The relationship between the father and the son only grew sore as time passed by. We will end our reading here for today, and then as we read, the more the economy develops, our heart desires also develop, and then we lose the love of other people around us who sacrifice for us, especially our parents. Yes, so don't forget, a week without reading weakens the brain. I wish you have a very nice time. Until we meet again, it's a bye-bye.